I call this meeting of the Seaside Planning Commission to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I go into roll call, our city manager, Spencer Kyle, would like to make a statement.
Members of our Planning Commission, I want to take a brief minute tonight just to apprise you of some changes we've made that not necessarily affect our Planning Commission, but would be important for you to hear, and so I'm here to present that. We've made some organizational changes within the city, and that change includes combining our building and our planning department into one department. Mm-hmm. So that department is now going to be the Community Development Department. And with that, we have a change in title for our fearless planning director, who is now our community development director. So you can feel free to congratulate him or give him a hard time about that. I look at this organizationally. To me, it made sense to have we have a new building official starting next week, and to have him spending more of his time on reviewing plans and out inspecting rather than the administrative side of holding meetings and being a department head. Both our planning and building departments work closely with each other already, and so it made sense. In terms of Jeff's responsibilities, nothing significantly changes other than the building official will report to him. However, as I said, both these departments have worked pretty closely together and shared staff in the past. So from an organizational standpoint, it made sense. And while we recognize Jeff is new in the profession, he is gaining knowledge and rather quickly, and I'm impressed with his efforts there and his knowledge, and he's certainly shown what he's able to do, and so I have my full confidence that he can take on these additional responsibilities. So I wanted to share that with you so you didn't hear it elsewhere, although we did announce it at our last city council meeting, but I wanted to come and address the Planning Commission directly myself. So thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Yes.
Good move.
Jordan, would you please take the roll call?
Don Johnson,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Kathy Klesick, Brandon Kraft,
Present.
Chair Robin Montero,
Here.
Seth Morrissey,
Here.
Lou Newbecker,
Present.
Chris Rose.
Present.
Thank you.
This is the time and place duly advertised for the Seaside Planning Commission to hold its monthly meeting. Agenda items can be initiated by the general public, any legal property owner, Seaside City Council, city staff, and the Seaside Planning Commission. Does anyone present feel the commission lacks the authority to hear any item on the agenda? Hearing none. Are there any corrections, deletions, or addition to the minutes of October 4th, 2022?
Chair, on page 2, second paragraph up, it says Chair Montero, open to discussion to the commission. It should be Vice Chair Kathy.
Noted, and I'll get that on fixed tomorrow.
Okay. Any other notations? Hearing none. It is standard procedure for the members of the commission to visit the sites to be dealt with at these meetings. Do any of the commissioners wish to declare an ex parte contact or conflict of interest?
Chair Montero, I do. I have a potential conflict of interest on agenda item 22-059CU, so I'm going to recuse myself and refrain from participating in the discussion, vote, and debate on this item.
Okay. Do you need to explain what?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let me see here. Okay, the following public hearing requirements apply to the items on our agenda. The applicable criteria for the hearing items are listed in the staff reports prepared for this hearing. Testimony and evidence shall be directed toward the applicable criteria listed in the staff reports or other criteria in the planned or land use regulation, which you believe applies to this decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals on that issue. The applicant will testify first, followed by any others in favor of the request, Then in any opposition will testify, and then the applicant will be given time for rebuttal. For testimony, we will hear from in-person attendees, followed by electronic attendees. When the time comes to hear from the members of the public attending electronically, there's a feature in the attendee view that allows you to electronically raise your hand by clicking on the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Phone attendees can raise their hand by pressing *9. You will then be placed into a queue, and when your time comes to speak, you will be unmuted and can address the commission. A moderator of the comments, Administrative Assistant Jordan Sprague, will monitor this area and let us know when citizens that virtually raise their hand are ready to make comments via Zoom or by phone. Background noise must be kept to a minimum while testifying, or your testimony time will be ended early. Prior to testifying, please state your full name and your address for the record, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes. The first public item on the agenda is item number 22-059CU. Mr. Planning Director.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. 22-059CU is a conditional use request for a mini storage facility, approximately 120 units on a vacant piece of land on the north side of Avenue S, just east of Alder Mill. The property is predominantly or entirely surrounded by other industrially zoned land. This request is similar to the uses in the area, including an already established storage facility that's across the street a little bit farther to the east. You'll see in the staff report, we've listed the findings and justification statements to approve this use, as well as staff has identified 7 recommended conditions that would address issues such as stormwater drainage, outdoor lighting, the trash facilities that should be required for the property. There's a unique aspect to this in the development where we would typically require sidewalks to be put in at the installation of this project. However, in review with our Public Works Department, Avenue S is slated to be completely redone, including sidewalks on that north side, starting in 2024, I believe. So it would make sense to not require that of the applicant at this time, as when that project takes place, the city's going to have to tear those sidewalks out anyway. The contractors will have to locate utilities underneath them. So there will be sidewalks eventually. It will not be incumbent on the applicant as far as the recommendation of the staff report is to install those. The additional issue that was identified in the site plan was the entrance, egress, and ingress access gates. They're too close to the road. Staff's recommending that the commission condition the applicant to move those grates farther in to not disrupt traffic flow on the already narrow Avenue S. That way there's ample space for vehicles to queue to open up the gate and wait without affecting traffic. There's additional information in the staff report. I can certainly answer any questions that the commissioners may have.
Thank you. Is there anybody that would like to speak in favor of the project? Please come up and state your name and address.
Can I speak in favor of my own project?
Yes, absolutely. If this is you, by all means.
My name's David Kohler. This is obviously I applied for the permit here. I think it's a use well needed in Seaside, based on my own experience of needing having a house fire and needing to find a storage unit and not being able to essentially find one. So I know it's a needed use in the community, and it just seems like it's a pretty reasonable spot to put a storage facility. So,
Anything else?
no.
Okay. Is there anybody opposed to this project? Oh, anybody else in favor? Excuse me. Thank you. Mark, can you talk into the microphone or make sure it's on?
There you go.
There we go. Thank you.
I've been the broker on this property for about the last year, and we've had interest, but I've had people who need, besides David, of course, but when they're trying to find mini storage, they say they've looked all the way from starting in Raymond all the way down to Tillamook, and they've been unable to find it, and they've wanted to put things on the waiting list, and there's just an increasing demand as people have relocated to Seaside, and there's only one other storage units in the community, in the city limits, and that's right across from the property. So this seems like a good location to add some additional units for that purpose.
Thank you. Now, is there anybody opposed? I don't think so. Sorry about that. Jordan, do we have any? Okay. I'll turn it over to the commission then. Does anybody have questions?
Well, I just noticed when I was reviewing the comp plan that it states in here that under industrial, it states light manufacturing and warehousing as is encouraged. So I feel that this falls under the advent of warehousing, and I have no problem passing this.
And it's under also conditional use. Let's see, C3.
Yeah. I do have one thing I'd like to ask in requirement for the sidewalks. I know what's going to be done with urban renewal dollars, and they're going to do the whole Avenue S site there. But couldn't they contribute some of the funding for that? We require it for all the other people that build in our community, and they have to put a sidewalk in, even though it may be just in front of their 50-foot house. It should be some kind of a requirement that they at least contribute some of the funding.
That, I don't know the answer to that question, if that's something that we'd be able to condition them to do.
Excuse me. Well, I do have a question. There's a home on the east side of the property. Mr. Kohler, if you'd like to come up front again, please. The home to the east side of the property, I know that you have somewhat of a lighting plan. How are you going to ensure privacy without blinding light, or what kind of security are you offering on the border of that residential property?
I have not been in contact with the homeowner there. I would suspect if we get the conditional use permit that I would, work with them to make sure that we don't put up, floodlights going right into their space. Everything will be kind of, directed back at the building. That's going to be they're on the Strum side there. There will be a 5-foot setback, and then that's just going to be the back of the units. So there's not going to be any, traffic on that side. That should be a pretty, low lit area, I would think.
And is this entire property fenced?
It will not be fenced. It will be a 5-foot setback, and then the building. There will not be a fence on the outside of that setback.
Okay. And is there, I see all the units, but so there's no parking per se?
No.
Okay. All righty. Anybody else have any
Jeff,
questions?
Don't we have a light ordinance where the light has to stay within the confines of the property?
Yeah, when the applicant submits his actual building plans, that's something that we'll look at that point. We'll require a lighting plan to be submitted with us. So we can ensure that it meets our lighting ordinance and ensure that it's not causing light to be cast into the residential use that's next door.
Thank you.
So my understanding then, since you have entrance and exit gates, the building is actually going to form its own perimeter, so a fence wouldn't be needed.
Essentially,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
And because this had to come before the planning commission, I presume that the Strummy property was notified of
Yes.
the meeting and everything?
Yes, there was mailed notice to all property owners within 100 feet, as well as published notice in the paper.
Okay.
And part of one of the conditions is also for the applicant to submit a landscape plan as well that will address landscaping on the front. We can also look at addressing landscaping down the sides of the property too, where that 5-foot setback is.
Okay. That house has been there since the 50s,
Oh,
so,
beyond.
yeah, and beyond, probably so.
So question, with the having the requirement for setting the entrance to the back, do they lose units?
That will all depend on how they design it and how they install it. They're going to have to bring back a plan to our office, which will then be reviewed by Public Works as well as the fire department before we approve the location of a gate. It's not going to just be a one-stop shop, unfortunately. We need to ensure that whatever modification they make to this to make the gate work isn't going to cause issues for fire or for Public Works as well. So the three of us will look at it with the applicant, try to come up with a good plan that works for everybody.
Did you?
Yeah, I have a question. Why are we putting gates in? The one right east of you across the street doesn't have gates.
The one right across the street doesn't have gates, no, but I do believe that this makes it more secure and a better,
But if you don't have a fence around it, people can still walk around the gate and get in.
well, they would have to climb over the units to get into, because that's gonna be a wall on the outside. It's essentially gonna form a U, so you can't get in through there, and then there'll be gates, across the front. So there's no,
So
The gates seal the
I
property.
realize that, but you were just asked if it was gonna have a fence around it, and you said no.
correct, it will not have a fence around it.
The building creates the fence because the gates, my understanding is the gates are right up against the building.
On the east and west side, they abut the building? Is that what?
So on the east side and the west side, there will be a 5-foot setback, and then there will be the exterior wall of the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Electric gate?
Yes.
Okay, and are these units heated?
Climate controlled, yes.
Okay, and is there a big electrical vault that you're having to deal with as well?
Explain that, what do you mean, a big electrical vault?
Something that's going to,
Draw a lot of power?
well, I'm not concerned with the power draw as much as the noise.
I don't suspect there will be any noise issues, beyond what a average heat pump or something like that makes. Yeah.
And they're open 24/7, 365?
Yes.
Okay, and not on-site, no on-site management?
No on-site management, no.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm confused because on your drawing, you're showing a fence. It states right on there, fence.
If it does, I'm not aware that Mark put that in. It wasn't on our initial.
All across the front, where it says the entrance gate and the exit gate, it's got fence written in there.
Okay, so just across the across the front of the property. There's no fences along it's not, the entire property's not enclosed
Okay,
by a fence.
okay,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
we just had a misunderstanding. Yeah,
Okay.
the front will be fenced off. And actually, to the point about moving the entrance gates, our initial plan that we had did have those entrance gates set 24 feet back. And I understand what you're saying now, because when you set the entrance gate back, then the front units become not behind the fence, which is okay. But then you just have the gates. You don't have the fence in between the gates.
And that's what my
That's where
question
we're,
came.
yeah, gotcha. No,
Because
I understand.
why have a fence?
Yeah.
People can walk right in.
Yeah. So when we move the gates back, what will likely happen is then there will be some units there that aren't behind the fence. So,
Okay,
yeah, and then the building again.
all right. Thank you.
Any other questions or concern? Okay. I'll entertain a motion for what have you.
We'll let Seth do it.
I'm sorry?
We'll let Don do it.
Oh, you're gonna let me do it? Oh, how special. I'd like to entertain a motion to grant this applicant with the conditions as staff has requested, and look into the cost of the concrete.
Yeah.
Sidewalks. It's just something that, you know, instead of having itch and stone, I'd rather have it looked into anyway, so we don't justify somebody else saying something in the future.
Yeah, I'll have that conversation with the Public Works Director tomorrow and see what we can come up with.
I think that covers it.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a first and second on 22-059CU. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? You have passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're right. They are very well needed.
Ordinance administration.
We have nothing for you tonight, unless any commissioners have general questions that we might be able to answer.
Okay, and we'll just keep on going then. Do we have any public comments, Jordan?
We do not have anybody online.
Okay, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission and staff comments. Mr. Rose, what do you have to say?
Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. Mr. Newbecker.
Merry Christmas. As Chris said, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, and don't forget 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Convention Center for Pearl Harbor Day.
Okay, Mr. Morrissey.
Yeah,
Goodbye, Seth.
thank you, thank you.
Got
Yeah,
the goodbye
ditto.
speech all set up.
Yeah, no, not really, but ditto to all that, and just it was a pleasure serving with all of you guys. I think you know we have a very competent planning commission, and I'm definitely leaving it in good hands. So good luck moving forward, and I think you'll do great. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kraft.
Just congratulations, Seth, and good luck.
Mr. Johnson.
Happy holidays, and Seth, pick wisely for your replacement.
That's right. You'll be there, won't you? You will be there. And I will also say congratulations and thank you. It's been nice having you here, but I understand. A couple things. I was gone in October, and of course we didn't have anything in November. In October, I went to the League of Oregon Cities, which is, I believe it's a group of 241 cities from across the state that get together, talk about how to get things done that are affecting their communities. Excuse me. It was absolutely fascinating, interesting. It kind of gave me an idea of where Seaside is in the rolling out of doing what we're doing to, you know, keep our community on a forward track, a progressive track. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I heard, wow, you guys do that? It's like, yeah, we do. But we certainly have different challenges than, let's say, in Bend, Oregon, or what have you. Excuse me. They had tours set up of different housing solutions, not just I should say in various degrees of housing requirements. And if you were able to attend today's housing meeting, what was it, the North Coast Housing Group, a lot of the same people were there that had attended the LOC. And absolutely fascinating opportunities, and I think that, yeah, we're in our own little microclimate, but I see great possibility in continuing working with the city council, city staff, city manager, and being proactive, progressive, and all that. I think we're all on the right track here. The League of Oregon Cities is going to be here in Seaside, April 25th and 26th, I believe. And having spoke with City Manager Kyle and City Council President, soon to be Mayor-elect, well, is Mayor-elect Wright, we are trying to get the Planning Commission to be able to attend this event as well as the City Council. And I totally encourage all to participate. just little nuggets and great networking and relationships, especially in some of the coastal towns like Coos Bay and that area, and what they're doing. It's pretty innovative, and I know, moving forward. So that's all I have to say. Gentlemen, anything from either of you?
We do have items for a January agenda, so, and plan on having a January meeting.
And elections are on that agenda as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And did you want to hold a work session this month? It'll fall right during our holiday
All the angels in my ears are saying no.
round, but you guys can certainly.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, we
So-
can go and cancel that.
I have one more question.
Oh, Lou has one more question.
Jeff, with your new title, did they give you some more money? Because you got a bigger headache.
Yes.
Well, with that being said, I will say happy holidays and happy new year to everybody. Thank you. We're adjourned.